one team that still is a massive draw on European shores is Real Madrid. They've managed to seal the signing of Jude Bellingham. Massive signing, Dave, for any team, really. An incredible player at the age of 19. I'm really excited to see him in that Real Madrid midfield, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think the thing for me is this is pressure football. It's the highest level now. Obviously, all due respect to Dortmund, obviously a very big club in Germany, but this is the pinnacle of his career now, and a very, very early stage of his career even. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, that it was Madrid, because I thought he would go to the Premier League first. I struggle to see if he could jump down to the Premier League from Real Madrid. The only way I could probably see it is if it doesn't quite work out for him there, because you don't very often see players make the jump from Real Madrid back to the Premier League. It tends to be the Premier League and then to Real Madrid. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think it's a great signing. I think it'll be interesting to see where Real Madrid go now elsewhere in the market, because I've heard the president come out and say this is it. That's him and Hosselu are the last two signings for them, which is, I find that hard to believe, to be honest.
It's a lot. It sounds outrageous, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I think the Madrid midfield, as I say, is looking fantastic now. They've obviously got Tchouaméni there. They've got Camavinga. And obviously they're replenishing that midfield as it ages quite handily, aren't they, really, Myles? It looks like they're sorted for a while, even though I think Carlo Ancelotti's been linked to the Brazil national team, which is mad. But no, Real Madrid's midfield, at least, in good hands.
Yeah, it's incredible what that squad's doing, because they've managed to... We've said it for the longest time. We said it before the Bellingham signing, that they were managing to balance the experienced midfielders they've got that are still world-class whilst bringing through the next kind of generation of elite talent. And they've just done it again. We forget Federico Valverde is still there as well, and is one of the best talents in world football. And although he started playing in a more advanced role, he's certainly a midfielder. That's four that are under 25, and they've still got Toni Kroos and still got Luka Modric at the time of recording. Who knows what Saudi will do? But it's incredible, and I'm really excited to see where Bellingham fits in, because actually, when you look at the current iteration of Real Madrid's midfield and how you kind of recycle that, you wonder who takes on what role. Who's your Casemiro, who's your Kroos, who's your Modric? Or do they change tactics completely? Because actually, Tchouaméni, Camavinga and Bellingham can all do very similar roles. They're all very skilled in every area of the midfield, basically. They're all very box-to-box. They're all good ball carriers. They can all shoot. They're all really good at reading the game. They're really intelligent players. So it's a really exciting midfield. We've seen Camavinga obviously play in other positions as well as Valverde. So you'd imagine the centre of the park is going to be Bellingham's own, particularly for that kind of money. And it's a wonderful opportunity. It's amazing that it's come about this early from our perspective, because we're English and we want to see a young English player do well. Yeah. But realistically, it's no different to Camavinga go in or Tchouaméni go in. Just because they're French, they're essentially what they are fantastic young midfielders, and that's the category that Bellingham's in. If anything, he might be slightly further ahead in his development than the two of them were when they first joined. So it's a really exciting time for him. I don't think it closes the door for a future move to England. I just don't think he needs it. I think we all kind of, again, maybe it's our isolated view because we're in England and we follow the Premier League more than anything else. We kind of view that as the very top in some ways, but there is no higher than Real Madrid. But then look at someone like Casemiro. He had a fantastic career at Real Madrid. You can't say that he left Real Madrid on a low point at all. It wasn't that his time wasn't a success there, but there came the time where he wanted a new challenge and he moved to Man United. We might see something similar from Bellingham. He might have some really successful years at Madrid and fancy a new challenge at some stage. You never know. So there are options for him. But right now, I'm really interested to see the team that Madrid build around him, because I absolutely do not believe that they're done in the transfer market. Not with Benzema gone. Hosselu is not playing up front from 38 games next season, is he? That's no shade to Hosselu. He scored a lot of goals in La Liga the last few seasons, but come on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with Jude Bellingham as well, at 19 years old, you do have to sort of remind yourself how young he is. But listening to him talk in front of the Madrid press at his press conference and his unveiling, he had the kind of attitude and the charisma of somebody well beyond that age, didn't he? And I think that's why I feel like he's almost head and shoulders above Camavinga and Tchouaméni, because he's got that maturity. And when he plays for England and for Dortmund, even for Birmingham when he was like 16, he had such an authority on the pitch and he carried himself with such confidence that It wasn't even close to arrogance either. He's a very humble guy. So it's easy to like, easy to root for whoever he's playing for, with the exception of Liverpool. If it had gone there, I don't know what I'd have been saying. So glad he's dodged that. But no, I just think he's such an impressive guy, isn't he, Dave? I'm really just blown away by what he's showing to the world. I don't know how I'd react if I transferred to Real Madrid at any age, let alone 19.
Do you think it's key that they've been able to retain Modric, in that this Real Madrid team is all of a sudden, it's not becoming as experienced it was? Obviously, they've just lost Benzema. Obviously, they've still got the likes of Carvajal, obviously Toni Kroos. I think it's really important, and that obviously getting these young players in, but they're also got these experienced winners around them to kind of really bed them in and show them, obviously, how to win. And I think that's the important thing for me. I think keeping Modric in there is probably a massive boost for them, really, ahead of obviously the new season, because then if you look at it, you've only really got Toni Kroos. Obviously Valverde's been there for 2 or 3 years now, and all of a sudden it's starting to look like quite an inexperienced team.
You say that, but the experience of even the young players is mental. Valverde is a great example. He's won Champions Leagues, and then their back line is a bit more experienced with the likes of Rudiger, David Alaba, Ferland Mendy,
Nacho.
like you say, Carvajal. Nacho is going to be their new club captain as well. So there are plenty of people around that will help them adopt that kind of Madrid way. And even someone like Vinicius, is there a player that gets what it means to be a Real Madrid player any more than Vinicius Jr. right now? He's probably the best player in La Liga. He's an absolute talent on the pitch, and he seems like he's got a really mature head on his shoulders as well. Although he's had these kind of quite outward emotional outbursts towards the horrible treatment he's received, the way he talks about it and the way he kind of plays his game, I think he's a fantastic leader in that team. So even though they are young, they've done a really good job, Real Madrid, at kind of identifying personalities, it seems, as well, which isn't necessarily what you would have said about the Galactico era or what they did kind of post the Galactico era even. It seems like they're actually planning quite a lot now, which is really impressive.